Hey, hey, hey. How y'all doing, everybody? It's Ellis the Elephant here with Polycarp Nakamoto. How you doing today, Poly?
I'm having a fantastic day. Absolutely amazing to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, definitely, dude. You have some very interesting topics to talk about today. They're doing a little bit of Web5 developing, so we're going to learn about that, learn about how it impacts all of us in our everyday lives, and how basically we can jump on this train and help devs and people developing on the Bitcoin blockchain succeed. So, sorry. So yeah, let's get to it.
Right on, right on. I'd love to tell the audience a little bit about Web5 so they kind of have an orientation for what we're going to talk about.
Perfect.
And I like to always start at Web 1, right? If you're technical and you're listening, you're going to love this. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, I think by the end of this, you're really going to have a firm understanding of just the decentralization of the web, how we got to where we are, and where we're going. And so in Web 1, it was kind of like a library, right? There are these data centers holding information that banks and universities would collect information and keep it there. And you could access that information, but you couldn't write any content to those databases. You could only read. There was also no identity layer to the internet at that time. And so as the internet continued to expand, we then have Web 2 show up. And we're actually still in Web 2. Web 2 is when you can log into an account at some of these big tech websites. We'll mention Uber, Google, Facebook, Zanga. All of these websites let you log in with an identity that's tied to your phone number or your email address.
Right. So not very decentralized. You're having to give up information about yourself in order to access the utilities that they offer.
Exactly. And the worst part is you don't even own that phone number or email address, right?
Right. They're always like, oh, you can port it over. You can do this. But now, to be honest with you, I'm dealing with a situation with T-Mobile where I paid them 2 months that I didn't even have the service just so I wouldn't have to deal with it. They're still trying to charge me and threatening taking my number, even though I've already ported it over to Helium and all that. So...
And if you lose that phone number, you'll never gain access to some of these accounts that you've had for years. It's a real problem because on the internet, there is no ownership until Web 3.
Okay.
Because now Web 3 allows you to control private keys that no one else has access to. You can actually own your identity and digital footprint in a way that you couldn't in Web 2.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, that's what the seed phrases and the private keys and all that are about,
Exactly.
Taking back control and custody of your assets that you own.
Yep. It's really important, and it's actually a game changer. That one aspect of Web3 alone is going to set so many people free because now you can actually own your digital footprint and your data in a way that it was never possible before. And that brings us to the next form of decentralization that the internet needs to be fully decentralized, and that's peer-to-peer communications. Right now, if I want to send you a text message, that text message has to go to some server farm wherever, and then it goes to your phone, right?
All the towers and all that, right?
Yeah,
that are owned by other people.
And the servers.
Yeah.
If I send you an Apple text message, it's on the Apple servers in California that message is actually showing up on your phone.
Okay.
And so in Web 4, we're able to send text messages from my phone directly to your phone with nobody else involved. No cell towers, no satellites, no internet. It's something that is truly revolutionary. Apple AirPods and the Airdrop is actually a great example of peer-to-peer communication and data transmission.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
But ultimately, what we want is we want communication without any third parties, just like we want Bitcoin with our money transactions with no third parties, right? Peer-to-peer. And so this right here is called a mesh-tastic device. And you can connect...
Mesh-tastic?
Yeah,
Meshtastic. Nice.
For those who are listening, you can check out this website. It's an open source protocol, just like Bitcoin is open source. And you can build these radios yourself. You can buy them off of Etsy, and you can contribute to a mesh network.
Okay, very cool.
Where my messages can go from my phone, on airplane mode with Bluetooth only to your phone miles away. And the furthest that I've been able to get a text message with Meshtastic is from Austin to Houston.
Austin to Houston. So that's like probably like 150 miles?
Yeah.
200 miles?
It's like a 2.5 hour drive. And the way it does that is it hops from one tower to the other.
Okay.
And
like these Meshtastic towers?
Exactly. And by tower, it can be this device in my hands. It can be something on someone's roof. There are all kinds of Meshtastic devices out there. And the more people that use them, the faster the network becomes. And so this is a great example of Web4 technology where I own this device and I'm using a open source Linux version phone. And that phone has no other third parties involved. I have actual sovereign communication with just these two devices.
Very interesting. Okay, that's really cool. Because, I was under the understanding that Web3 was, making transactions on the internet, peer-to-peer. So and what's your take on that exactly? Because you said we're still in Web2 your opinion. So now that interests me.
Web3 is the protocols are decentralized.
Okay.
But the infrastructure is very much centralized.
Like you're still using extensions that are on top of Google and things like that? Is what you mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a server farm somewhere that is hosting that data, and you are not sovereign when you're interacting with that server farm. There's some things that are decentralized about Web3, namely the keys, right, and managing your own identity. That's very decentralized, but more often than not, it's kind of a blend of decentralization. I'll give you one tangible metric to use. The domain name system is a phone book on the internet. It's literally just like a big phone book. And when you type in, whatever
that's why they got rid of
website-
Yellow Pages, right? Because it took the place of it.
Well,
Rest in peace, Yellow Pages. I think it went down in like 2016.
Yeah, I mean, no one
Shout
even
out.
uses phone numbers like that anymore, right?
Hell no.
But these are our website phone numbers. And because when you type in like google.com, how does your computer know which server to look at, right? It looks at these servers called the DNS. And there are only a couple of people who we don't know who they are that run and manage those servers. And so if you want to view something on the web, you have to use the DNS, and it's centralized. So even though Web3 is more decentralized than Web2, we still don't have a decentralized internet. We're still using internet service providers to gain access to the web. And then there's only a select number of servers that actually get the traffic to where it needs to go.
Okay. So it's like only really one or two crossing guards for a bunch of people trying to use multiple streets, is what you're saying?
Exactly. And in Web5, the next level of decentralization, it's kind of like a big city with lots of streets. And if one street is closed or you don't have access to where you want to go, there's always another street that you can take. There's always another way, right? And that's exactly what makes Web5 so secure and safe, is it's peer-to-peer. So someone's not listening in on everything that you're doing, which is what we need because AI is changing the game, right? And so what we want is an internet that's fully decentralized. So a security company doesn't just put up one update and all of a sudden everything stops. We need to have decentralization so that we can't be turned off.
Yeah, so that's that's basically just an analogy that you use to make people understand kind of like the basics and the I forgot what I was going to say, the basics and the fundamentals of, what y'all are trying to develop on the back end. So I say y'all, you have a team. How many other people are in the Web5 space developing right now, trying to, advance the technology and lead to a more decentralized community?
Yeah, so in Web5, there's not very many players right now. Jack Dorsey was the first person to announce Web5 to the world. And when I first heard about it, I thought it was a joke. I didn't pay any attention to Web5. I thought the time that Web3 was a little bit sketchy. But I've come to understand the differences between these terms. And I actually now really believe in the vision and the concept and the mission of Web5. There are a lot of people who are developing Web5 technology and they don't even know it. That's the amazing thing, is because there is not a lot of awareness about Web5. There's a lot of projects that could be claiming to be Web5, but they're not aware of the definitions.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what are you doing personally besides getting on these shows, talking about it on Spaces, being on Twitter? What are you doing like IRL to get people to understand what, they're getting into, and potentially, hey, you are building on Web5, so maybe capitalize on the front running of the technology?
Yeah, so it really is a new internet built on top of Bitcoin nodes. And so once there's enough Bitcoin nodes out there, we can connect them all. And then we would be having a fully decentralized internet built on the infrastructure of Bitcoin. It's not just Bitcoin the money. All of us know about Bitcoin the money. Very few people actually understand Bitcoin the network. And Bitcoin the network, the physical infrastructure, all the miners, all of the node runners, that's huge. There's 20,000 nodes around the world. Our goal is to sell and distribute 100,000 nodes within the next 2 years.
Wow. Okay. So that's like a 5 times from where we are now. Yeah. That's pretty amazing, because the more nodes there are, the stronger the network and the less likely it is to go down, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, I have followers, on my other platforms that don't really understand Bitcoin at all and all that. They just think of it as fake money. You literally just said you are building on top of Bitcoin. You are making an internet. So for them, do you have any more analogies that breaks it down and kind of makes them understand what you are trying to achieve?
Absolutely. Bitcoin did a really good job of decentralizing our money. It did a really good job of allowing us to hold our money and have that money not be censored. I believe that what Bitcoin did for our money, Web5 is going to do for our data. And so I need to be able to hold my own data. When I'm using something like Dropbox, I'm kind of putting all of my data into someone else's backyard. It's kind of like a garden, right? If you have this big garden that you're tending and you're putting money and effort into, who in their right mind would put that garden in someone's backyard?
Not me. I want my tomatoes fresh and homegrown like I would do.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell what they're doing with your food when it's not in your backyard. And you don't know who else they're giving access to. It's a real problem.
They just allow the snakes and squirrels and the rabbits to go and eat your vegetables, don't they?
Well, they don't really care about your data. I experienced this recently where my Gmail account had gotten hacked.
Oh, shit.
I got locked out. 15 years of content, video, text messages, files.
Gone.
Because when I try to log back in, they can't tell if I'm the hacker or if the other guy is the hacker. So their policy is to just restrict access completely. I lost my entire garden in Google.
15 years of gardening.
Gone.
Building up stuff, gone in a flat. And there's no way to get it back?
Not that I can tell without me showing up, at some office and begging for access and proving who I am somehow. It's a real problem.
That's insane. No, that's insane. And I'm like a Google fanatic whenever it comes to the phones. I just ordered the new Google 9 Pro XL, big one, because I got big hands.
And we actually like the Google Pixel phones. We use them for our Web5 phones. And so you asked earlier, what is it that we do? We build hardware and software that is Web5 compatible. So Web5 is a set of protocols that is being developed by Jack Dorsey. And there are going to need to be a lot of people building on those Web5 protocols. We're one of the first, and we have devices that those protocols can be used on to help you gain more control and sovereignty over your digital footprint. And we also have hardware solutions that are a alternative to some of the Web 2, Web 3 solutions that we have today. We have a television product that we're working on that will unlock the potential of your TV. You don't necessarily need to use Apple TV or Roku, who takes all of your data, limits what you can actually watch, and limits what you can do with your television based on whatever apps they allow you to run. Our device gives your television complete access to do whatever a computer can do, which is a pretty big deal in the television media space.
No, yeah, that's huge because, I sell DirecTV. There's a battle going on right now between DirecTV and Disney. So all DirecTV users are no longer able to access the Disney channels until, they pay them a certain amount of money. So,
exactly,
dude, it's just crazy, man. Just to take back a little bit of power from like corporations and things like that would be amazing. Just like an amazing step forward. And you do that by not just money, but, like you said, your data, your garden, which is money technically to them because they're making oodles of money off of your data.
Exactly.
And if there's any way to prevent that, that's kind of what I'm trying to shoot for as well. I have an old MacBook. He had mentioned that he can help me out and actually help me create a Bitcoin node here, support the network. And I'm actually curious. I don't really know much about making a node or doing anything like that. So give me a rundown on what you're going to do or how to make a Bitcoin node for the people that don't know, like me.
So there's actually a company out there called Start9, START9.
Start9.
Start9. And they do an incredible job at making it really easy to run a Bitcoin node. It used to be really difficult. Now, with just a couple of YouTube videos, you can get it all figured out. And they sell nodes that you can just buy offline. We highly recommend that people run a Start9 node. Those guys are great. We really like them.
They're cooking. Start9, hit us up if you wanted to sponsor this podcast.
Yep. And
we'll do it.
Old technology. This is the thing I love about Web5 is you can use refurbished hardware. You can use outdated hardware to build Web5. And so all we would do is place a different Linux-based operating system on this old MacBook Air. This is the first one that they made, and it doesn't need to be fancy. 8 gigs of RAM is pretty much the minimum. We prefer 16 gigs of RAM. And
more the better.
More the better, of course. Faster, better.
Faster, yeah.
But it really doesn't take much. And we don't need to all buy new hardware. Most of us have a laptop sitting, in our closet that has a dead battery.
I actually have 2 phones that are Google Pixels that are in that room next door that I'm, might as well. They're just sitting there. Well.
And what I love about Linux is when you put Linux onto a device like a phone, a laptop, a television unit, there is no user agreement. That's the difference. When I use Apple or Microsoft, I'm signing a contract when I hit that little user agreement check mark. And that contract...
That's like that South Park episode. You seen that episode?
Or the Black Mirror episode.
Oh, or the Black Mirror episode. Yeah, dude, that Black Mirror is crazy, bro. We're going to live that. They're just putting that out.
We already are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're just putting that out to try to wake us up a little bit from the simulation, but they put us back down.
Yeah, well, that is going to be the reality if we don't build the solutions. And the solutions are found in Web5 protocols and technology because it follows the principles of Bitcoin. Open source, decentralized, sovereign. If you have the principles of Bitcoin built into any part of your life, you are way better off than someone who is giving away all of their data for free and under the control of big tech through these user agreements. We call it the ULAG. Instead of a gulag, a prison, it's a user agreement prison. It's a ULAG. And we want to help people escape the ULAG.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I want to jump back to, how you said you wanted to bring on basically 5 times more node users or people that have nodes running.
Yep.
Tell me how you're planning on doing that. How do y'all want to try to execute that and, I guess, bring awareness?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways that we plan on doing that. The first one is helping people to own their data. And the way we do that is most Bitcoin nodes also come with software that allows you to be your own cloud, right? Not your keys, not your coins, not your cloud, not your data.
Basically, it goes back to the garden thing you were talking about.
It does,
Okay.
yeah. And so there's a software on Bitcoin nodes that allows you to run your own cloud, and it does absolutely everything that Google, iCloud, Microsoft Drive, Dropbox, Zoom, it replaces all of that. And so the first step is, hey, take control of your money with a Bitcoin node. Now take control of your data with a Bitcoin node. That's really the first step for anybody who's wanting to live on a Web5 standard. And when you do that, you then start realizing all of the different areas of your life where you are not secure, not free, you don't have choice. It becomes a lifestyle choice where you want to be a sovereign individual. And it affects your other life choices. So your laptop, your cell phone, those should be open source as well. And when you have a laptop and a cell phone that is paired with your Bitcoin node, you become sovereign. You don't need any other third parties involved in your digital footprint. And that's huge. The second thing that we're doing, besides making Bitcoin nodes more usable and have more features, is we are working on a network protocol that will allow you to take Bitcoin transactions, whether it be Lightning or a form of eCash, and pair data with it so that your email has a little bit of a cost, just a fraction of a penny. And when it gets to its destination, another Bitcoin node peer-to-peer, that person receives that fraction of a penny. And if your Bitcoin node is relaying traffic from one person to the other, you get a little toll.
You collect all the tolls.
You collect all the tolls.
We like collecting tolls.
Yeah.
That's easy money.
Mining. That's how Bitcoin mining started, right?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do the same thing with our data transmission. And that will incentivize the build out of these Bitcoin nodes all over the world because everyone's going to want to collect those tolls. And when the Bitcoin network, Web5, can't go down and there's some sort of disruption with the internet, everyone is going to want to be part of this network. It's going to incentivize itself. And as long as you are connected to enough people, you should always have more Bitcoin in your wallet on the browser than what's going out. So it's sustainable. Maybe you top it up, once every couple months. But yeah, it's going to change everything.
Okay, so I have a question. A lot of people talk about, how you said it, the internet goes down, you still have the nodes running and all that. Mm-hmm. Well, what about, everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin's digital money, if the grid goes down, yada, yada, then it goes down, like you lose everything. So like what happens if, EMPs start happening or like we lose electricity and all that? People are still able to power these Bitcoin nodes, say through solar panel or other types of things. They don't need the massive warehouses and all that are running the internet now, correct?
That's right. A Bitcoin node can run on something that is, about the size of a deck of cards, a little bit bigger. So you don't need massive computers. And the power requirements can easily be satisfied with a small little Goal Zero style solar generator. And that's becoming more popular. More people have solar panels than ever. And so I don't think that we would really see that much of a collapse if the internet was sufficiently decentralized. Right now,
I can feel that.
Yeah. Right now it's not. And there's all kinds of things that could go wrong to bring
the airplane thing. Literally, what just happened with the cloud? The whole airplane thing, it messed up the whole world.
It did.
Imagine if we were actually, running our own internet nodes. It might have affected one little small portion, but other than that, the rest of the world would have been able to run smoothly and on top of the Bitcoin blockchain, which is very interesting to me. The Bitcoin blockchain. I mean, I get the nodes, the transactions going across, but like, I don't know. I guess the building on top of it, what are programmers using to build on top of it and things like that? Like, what kind of language and all that?
Yep. So if you go online, you'll find a couple of websites that is run by a company called TBD.
TBD, to be decided that I am the greatest of all time. No, I'm just playing.
We'll find out soon enough. But TBD is the group that is funded by Jack Dorsey.
Okay.
And they're building all kinds of software that will supercharge Bitcoin, the network. And I do want to make the distinction between Bitcoin, the money, and Bitcoin, the network.
Right.
When I usually talk about this, people are like, this is insane. Bitcoin is slow. And you'll gum up all the transactions. There's not enough transactions for this. When you understand that Bitcoin, the network, is different than the protocols that run Bitcoin, the money, it all makes sense because these nodes are able to do things that Bitcoin, the money, cannot do.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because, I mean, it takes forever to send a Bitcoin transaction because it's getting bounced around. It's having to get confirmed in all these locations. No, this is like on top of that, using the nodes to send peer-to-peer communication. You told me the last time we met, which is the coolest thing that I've heard through this little thing that you are developing. By the way, what is the name of the company, or is there?
Yeah, so we haven't launched publicly yet. But the accelerator incubator that we have is called Lab 484.
Lab 484. Okay, beautiful. Lab 484 has this really cool thing. Tell them about the Burning Man story.
Yeah. So
that's what I love. That
decentralized internet is a really big deal, and right now everyone is overpaying for their internet access. You should probably only pay for what you use. That would be more equitable for everybody, and if you want to experience the internet, you have all these barriers. Like if you were at Burning Man and you wanted to share internet with your campsite, it's really hard to do, right? Maybe Starlink.
Unless you own a fire hotspot, but that still won't work because there's not enough towers around.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to be the internet. If you had a mobile server, a Bitcoin node, which that's one of the things that we've developed, is a Bitcoin node in a box. It's the size of a lunchbox. And you can go to Burning Man and you can set up a Wi-Fi mesh network. And everyone who is in range of that network can communicate with the Bitcoin node server. And there's all kinds of websites that Bitcoin node is broadcasting. And so all of your friends, everyone's got their phones. No one has cell service, but they can all communicate, share videos, share files. The DJ can have all of his music there and bring it up on site. I mean, there's so many uses for a mobile server where it's private, it's secure, it's just within the range of people who are there. And like I said,
would this be like almost like a massive Dropbox for everybody? Like you take a picture, you can put it in there, and now it's like a neighborhood. They got those neighborhood like sites and all that where you can share pictures or talk about the neighborhood.
It's like decentralized Telegram.
Okay.
That's exactly what it's like.
Decentralized Telegram. That was a lot better of an explanation than what I was trying to come up with some kind of.
I mean, it does so much more, but that it fulfills that very easily.
No, yeah. Okay, cool.
And if you do plug in Starlink or something like that into the server in a box, you will have full internet access for everybody who's there if they're in range.
So if you want to be a hero at Burning Man, Lab 484?
Yep, Lab
484, incubation name, soon to be bigger name. Wait for that. It's going to be coming out. Give them your socials.
Yeah.
So people can follow you and stay up to date and get information and maybe reach out to you if they're interested in developing and like getting into it.
Yep. We definitely are looking for partners, right? We're looking for 4 types of people right now. People who have talent that want to contribute to Web5, people who want to buy some of these products, people who have investment capital. If you're a multimillionaire, please come talk to us. And people who want to be part of our community and want to follow along. if one of those 4 archetypes are you, please
If you're
visit-
all 4, hit me up, okay? I need a best friend.
right.
If you're all 4 of those.
Yeah, if you're all 4 of them, then you're a highly valuable individual.
Yeah, I don't need nothing from you but friendship.
Yep. We just want to be in your circle. We want to be connected to your network.
Yeah, I just want to be connected.
Yep, peer to peer. And so you can go to our website. You've seen the Matrix, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
showed me that. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it's almost like an assistant.
Yeah.
Is that the thing you're talking
Oh,
about?
no, just the movie The Matrix.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was the name of that assistant thing you were
No,
just
it's
showing me.
okay.
that
There's
stuff.
a lot of people who haven't seen that movie, but in the movie The
Love it.
Matrix, there's a scene, multiple scenes where they call the operator to
Yes.
get out of the Matrix. So our website is calltheoperator.org. You can go to,
Calltheoperator.org. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. Get out the matrix.
yeah, get out of the big tech matrix. That's
I love
what
that.
we're telling people.
I love that. Calltheoperator.org. They're looking for 4 fire individuals, web developer, somebody with stacks, somebody with a good smile, and then somebody who's enthusiastic and ready to kill in the Web5 game.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, it's wide open. Not a lot of people are here. It's a big ocean with plenty of space for everyone's boat. We can all go fishing together and bring it home. Now, here's the other thing, too. If you're listening to this podcast, the best thing that you can do to contribute to Web5 is to share this podcast with 2 other people who you think should hear what we talked about today.
And create a node.
It doesn't cost a single thing for you to share this
It's true.
podcast.
It's true.
Yeah.
All you got to do is tag them at the bottom. Follow all my socials. That's ELE Studios, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And then I'm Ellis the Elephant. You can follow me if you want or not. I'd rather you just follow the ELE Studios account. But yeah, another episode. Great episode. We love it. We love it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you for coming in. This has been the Elephant's Corner. This has been about Web5. Very interesting stuff. Polycarp Nakamoto here with me. Love the mask. I actually have him talking to a guy in Austin, Texas about maybe getting another mask design because he's a fire at his work. I forgot your ad, dude. I can't plug you right now, but I'm sorry. He's part of Web3 as well. But yeah, I had a great time. I hope y'all had a great time. Follow my socials. Give this a share. And subscribe to all of my YouTube and Twitch channels. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Anytime. Happy hashing.